I want to be about groundbreaking change, right? Like I want to literally, my goal is to fight the good fight. That's what I'm here for.
All right, so Yladrea Drummond, welcome to the You Are a Lawyer podcast, and Yladrea Drummond Esquire, because you are a licensed attorney, which is a huge deal, right? So 2 weeks from now makes 10 years since we graduated from law school. I usually don't do that. I try to keep it evergreen, but we're recording in late April, and May 9th, 2015 was when we graduated, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
So what's up? What has been happening in the last 4 years since the last time we recorded for the podcast?
So I moved from Texas to Maryland.
Okay.
I wasn't practicing then. I didn't have my license. It was far removed. I was team no care about the law. And now I am practicing in Maryland and DC. I'm licensed in Texas as well. In the federal bar in Maryland, but I primarily practice in Maryland and DC, mostly Maryland. And I have my own firm now. I have staff. It just escalated really quickly because I've only been barred now going on 3 years, but it feels like yesterday that I wasn't an attorney. So, just new things.
Yeah, so what was that transition like moving from Texas to Maryland? Because did you already have both boys or?
I did. I had Cannon is my youngest, and he was, at the time when we moved, he had just made a year that August. So we moved in December of 2020, so right during the pandemic. But that transition was rough. To this day, still rough. When I was moving out here, I had talked to a lot of our friends, and I was asking our friends, like, how much does it cost? What about the pricing? I forget, none of them have kids. So I didn't ask about daycare. And that's when I found out the daycare was like rent. Okay. It was expensive. Like I'm talking about upwards of $3,500 for 2 kids. And I had never paid that before. I was like confused.
Yeah.
I really was. So it was rough on that. I think that this area is totally different. It's the first time I found out, just how different Black people are, even across the nation.
Yeah.
Just totally different, right? But just adjusting. It's still an adjustment, but it's a lot of opportunity out here. I obviously miss the South. That's where I'm from. But it's a lot of opportunity, and I don't have to worry about the craziness that goes on when the political issues go up. The South just suffers. So I think I kind of transitioned in a good time. Pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm looking at your sweatshirt, which Drummond is your married name, right? How does your husband feel that he's like, oh my goodness, like fell in love with you. We started this whole family. We started this whole journey. He's been with you through the whole thing. And now he's like, my name is blasted everywhere.
Surprisingly, he does take pride in it. He's always like, you should always have the name up there. But he's probably the most chill about the law firm. Everybody else in his family, my family, make a big deal about like how much it's out there, or like people be like, oh, I didn't know your wife, or you find out. He's like, okay, to him it's just he sees me every day. So he gets it. But when he's like driving past, my office is visible from, you could see it on the building from the street. And so he'll have people like, is that your wife's firm? Like I saw it. So he's proud. They fake proud when they don't want to act like it's a big deal.
Yeah, he probably doesn't act like it's a big deal to you, and with everybody else, he's like, I know. That's me.
He always wears his sweatshirt. He's everywhere he goes, he has it on, and they're like, oh, you're a lawyer? He's like, no. Like, it's my wife. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So when we were in law school, we were in legal writing together too. So like literally from that first semester, we were in a class together. Did you always want to run a law firm? What did you think you were going to do?
Oh, no. Having a law firm was the last thing that I thought I was going to do. I thought when I finished, like when I came out, that I would practice family law. Shout out to Professor Reed. She made me want to be a family law lawyer. But I always thought I was just going to like go up in the ranks. And then at some point I started watching Suits and thought I was going to go do something like that.
Yeah.
But I never thought I would have a law firm. didn't. Especially not a solo law firm now. At first, I had a partner in a law firm. So that also was a change. But I never thought I would be doing that. No, that wouldn't have been something I would have wanted to do. It's definitely hard.
Yeah. What is it like? I know it's a lot of responsibility, right? But like, do you take that time to kind of celebrate yourself or be like, my life in 3 years is 180 degrees different, but like in the best way possible? Like, what does it feel like?
I definitely have celebrated myself at times when I'm not tired.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work.
Okay.
And I think because, I prayed for this and I knew like I was asking God for this to come like sevenfold. Like it took me 7 years. I wanted to all be like it never, and He gave me that. And I'm always busy. It's a lot because at first you're doing all the work,
Yeah.
at the transition from when I went from having a partner to going to a solo firm, wasn't able to have staff because I had to recover from the bounce back of that. You're your money, you drive everything that you have. So you have to go get it, I'm fortunate enough to be what's called a panel attorney. You're supposed to have like 5 years to get on these. I got on the one panel for a legal aid, and one of them, that's the one where Kayla Williams, she was the supervising attorney, and luckily I knew her, so that was a plug. So I got in there, got on a different one, a separate family law one, and then I ended up getting on the one for the public defender's office, and that just took off a different life. I was totally afraid of crim at first. I was like, I don't know, and that turns out to be like what I'm best at. Like I'm really good at that. I love it. Going from being scared in trial ad to do trials to like it's always a trial for me. Like I'm prepping right now for an attempted murder case that I never thought I'd be doing. But it's just been fortunate enough to be able to consistently always have the flow of money. That's not normal. Most people do have to go find and you kill what you eat, but I don't have to look for clients. But it's still tiring because you're always taking them on. I always want to help so many people. I'm always like, I'll take a case, and I kind of do come highly recommend. I'm trying not to overplay myself, but I'm not downplaying it either because the truth is I've made a very big name for myself out here, like out of nowhere, like winning in counties that people don't win in. So now everybody calls me from different counties and they're asking me to take this case, and I'm always like, oh, let me check my schedule. I had to officially block it this time.
Wow.
I was so stacked that I'd have to start paying people to go to court for me because I was taking on too many cases. So I was like, let's dial it back.
Plus, you like going to court. So I
like going to court, but I do. But it's a balance, right? We're talking about motherhood. I'm a wife. My husband, I'm a big dog in the court, but at home I'm not. Like, not like that. I mean, I know what you mean. He's old school Southern. So he's all like, you still got to do this. But he's helpful. But when you don't have any help. So I'm out here with a firm with no family. So it's literally me and him having to juggle who's going to get the kids. I go to trial. I'm in trial for a week straight, maybe 9 till 6. So he's having to get the kids. So I don't know how we're doing. I'm probably just a little bit insane at this point. This is probably like one of the only days, and I still have a virtual hearing today. I've never really don't have a day off, but I do like the fact that I don't answer to anyone.
Yeah.
That's something I'll never get tired of, not answering to somebody else, and always knowing that you're literally building your legacy. I don't know if my kids ever are going to go. They think daddy has a job as a work truck. They don't. Mommy's job is just, she goes to court and they just bang the gavel. What is that? No love,
Right.
So they probably ain't going to take over the firm. I'm going to have to give this thing away.
Yes. I was actually running late to this call because I was editing a TikTok and it was about having complete autonomy. And I was like, I've always moved like that. I just never knew what it was. Like my mom always just called me bougie, but it's not that. It's just that like, if I can do whatever I want to do whatever I want. Like I've just always wanted that. And it is funny when you are running businesses and you are also a partner, you're a spouse, you're a mom, right? Because we are different things to different people. But like this part fulfills us too. And you got to have that peace. Cause like even listening to you, it's probably challenging for your husband, but he sees how happy you are. Like you are absolutely loving it. You're like, oh man, I'm so stressed with a full smile.
That's true. I mean, I guess you don't think about it in that way, but that definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think when I think back, you asked me, did I always want a firm? I always knew I wanted to work for myself. I just didn't know it was going to be a law firm. Right? Because I didn't even go to law school knowing I wanted to be a lawyer. I literally got in, and was like, oh, I got into law school. But I knew nothing about law school. So it was like, I never had this lifelong dream, but when I got there and I realized like, oh, I really like this. Like now I find law to be a sport. I'm like, I take this serious. I hate losing. That's why I stopped doing family law, because everybody loses. I like to win.
Yeah.
I like to win.
Yeah.
But this is real life. So you're right. I'm stressed out, but I'm grateful because I do have this opportunity, and not many people are going to get the opportunity to do what I'm doing, and not even just what I'm doing, being their own boss. That's crazy. Some people don't dream of it, but even like with you, you get to do that. When you think about the comfort of your home or whatever you want to do, I literally can do what I want. I'm in control of my schedule and my money. And I think I kind of like that a lot.
Yes. So, okay, I got two questions that are just like, I don't want to forget them. When you started with a partner, so you were expecting to still be working with a partner. That just kind of, okay.
Yes. We randomly met. Like we were opposing counsel on a case. And I kind of liked the way that he moved in the case a little bit, but he approached me as far as like, I'm leaving my job. I was like, shoot, I'm about to leave my job. There was a lot of stuff going on for him. And then he's married, I'm married. We were like, look, we still got to feed our family. Like, we got to do something. So we were in the same area. So we just like, screw it. Let's do a firm. I wish I would have vetted that a little bit differently because he abruptly just said he wanted his own firm.
Okay.
Nothing had happened in my eyes. I don't think anything happened. Whatever he thinks, that's fine. But I was left with everything. I was left with all of the clients, which was a lot. I was left with a calendar that I couldn't manage. And I was left with the lease that was for 3 years. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect that because I would have never signed a 3-year lease. And at that moment, I was still transitioning, thinking I want to go back to Texas because I had gotten Texas barred. So I was like, I'm ready to go back. Like, I don't really have to be here. You can run it there. I can run it, here. It didn't make sense. But he was like, no, let's stay here. And then we didn't even make it a full year as a firm.
Okay.
The reason why I know a lot of people didn't notice is like my logo, I kind of kept the same colors. I transitioned it. My name was first on the other one. It was Drummond and Parker first, now Drummond Law Group. Nobody really noticed. It just kept going on with the change. But what you learn when you do a partnership is that make sure you have the same aligned goals. He's older than me, more than 10 years older than me, maybe like 11 years older than me. And that was his first firm too. He graduated after us. So a lot of people thought he had this firm. It wasn't. It was literally brand new. But he was slowing down his life and I was right? Like I'm trying to get to the money. I'm trying to get to the clients. And he's like, I'm just trying to retire and this is enough for me. And I'm like, that's not enough for me. Not to be out here. I need to be doing more. And so different goals, not to bash, because I really have still no ways about it. I've moved on. But it was a very odd and hard transition.
Well, I mention that because it's not like having a boss, but you also have someone you guys got to make decisions together. So that alignment piece, I'm glad you mentioned that.
It's almost like what people call a marriage, right? Because in a business, because you can have roles in that, but also ultimately, when a decision has to be made, I'm asking you, you're asking me, nobody's making a move without the other. Or if they do, then it's totally inappropriate. Just like in a marriage, it can be totally inappropriate. Unless you have that autonomy to do so. You also have to know, like I said, the space somebody's in. If this is his second career, right, and he's just slowing down, I'm a workhorse. So he benefited from me moving how I was moving. I literally did 85% of the firm's work. I mean, it wasn't like he would go to court. But it was like, I'm doing all the billing. I didn't need to be stressed out. I was doing that. I can go back to somebody else's law firm and be billing for somebody else, So making sure you're in a partnership, it's a lot more to it. I feel like it's literally like a marriage, but I don't have those kind of ties to you like that.
Yeah.
So, partnership sucks if you don't have it right.
Yes, but I think that's an interesting point because it took 7 years for you to get licensed. What was that like resiliency like? Because now that you're like, yes, it is hard, but these are the fruits of 7 years of labor plus the 3 years of law school. That's a lot to now get here. And for like, they say it takes like 10 years to be an overnight success and you put in that time. Like,
I'll say this, the not being barred part was hurtful for a while.
Yeah.
Because you're like, dang, man, what the heck? Like, what's taking so long? But I have ADHD, but I didn't know that my reading rate was speed.
Okay.
Was low. Like I read very slow because I read to understand. And so I had got a new evaluation when I was out here because one of the people on the board from this job I was working at the Legal Services Corporation, he was like the former president. He was like, "Go take the bar again." And I was like, "Nobody, I'm not doing that." It had been 3 years I hadn't taken the bar. I had taken a full break on those 3 years. I was like, "I'm not taking the bar." He was like, "You need to do it. You're amongst all these lawyers. Everybody there was like for Sidley Austin. Like these are all big wig attorneys. So they're like, you're gonna feel some type of way. Go take the bar." Take DC in 2021, miss it by 20 points because I was working full time and studying. And so I was like, all right, well, I failed it. So then I was like, oh, but I had also asked, God, I said, if I don't pass, just let me have the strength to take it one more time. Don't ever ask him that because he will give you that extra year. And so I went back and I was like, okay, well, wasn't even going to take Maryland, had to take, kind of forced to take Maryland because DC was doing this whole only DC people get to apply first. And I was like, well, what am I gonna do? Like the deadline's coming up, and I didn't want to take the MPRE over again. I was like, I'm not gonna make that score. Like I just want my score to do it. So, DC gave me accommodations, by the way. So that's the first time I ever got more time. I got extended time because I didn't know that I needed it. Because they do multiple choice. I'm not as fast with the multiple choice. So I ended up getting more time, and I passed with a high enough score to get into pretty much any state in Maryland. But that feeling is totally different because I had seen, we're sorry, we regret to inform you so many times. It's a translation. I was just like in shock. But I had already knew, I was like, this time around.
Yeah.
One last time, I'm not doing it again. That was a journey, more of a mental journey than anything. And then when I got into the actual field, I instantly had got a job. I was getting a lot of offers from smaller firms. I ended up having to move from one side of Maryland to the other, got with this small firm, guy from Tennessee. And he was all piping it up like he was going to, teach me everything. He didn't teach me nothing. He taught me the game. He taught me how to finesse in court. He told me how to meet all the clerks. He taught me how to run business, like always do your business. Other than that, I didn't know what I was doing in court half the time. He would just be like, oh, by the way, go get a continuance. And I was like, well, what are you doing? Get in there. I have to go in the court and be like acting like I knew, like, yeah, I'm normally in a different court.
Yeah.
Tell me how this court goes. I didn't know. It was so bad. Ooh, it was so bad. But it was a journey.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's what we do. Like we figure stuff out. That's what law school teaches us. Because you said, you were like, oh, I got into law school. Let's go. Well, what is this? And you figured it out. And you did it.
I did by the grace, honey. I barely got through that thing by the grace. And I should have listened to BC White. But, R.I.P. to my boy. But at the same time, it's definitely something when you jump in, you don't know what you're doing. You either have to get it or not. But it also teaches you who wants to be a trial attorney and who doesn't. Like everybody's not going to be built for it. For real. Yeah. Like, and also it taught me out here that we're just trained different down south. Like we're TCG, trained to go. We're ready for trial coming from the school we came from. Out here, they're pretty much all transactional. So they don't move like I move. So I think that it catches them by storm a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like rah, coming in. But they're like trying to plea everybody out. And I'm like, nah, it's a trial. You can't prove this. Like, I'm ready for a trial. And I don't know who told me to do that. Half the time I was like, my first jury trial, I was like, pray about it. Because I was in there scared, but I ended up doing well. So I was like, you got to fake it till you make it. That's the truth.
No, it's true. But I mean, they do train us differently. Because even when I worked in my firm for 5 years doing operations, and they just were like, oh, but you don't have to worry about that. And I was like, no, I got it. Oh, but we haven't done that part yet. We're about to do it now, right? And it is completely different because they are very like, it'll just happen. And I'm like, let's do it now. And that's
in any job I did. Even back before practicing, I realized just how much we were so more prepared to be like, okay, let me think here. Because I was telling somebody the other day how I remember I believe her name was Professor Wilson. This was property teacher. She graded my exam, and I remember her saying, yeah, you got the right answer, but you just were so short. You need to tell me this. You need to tell me this. And I was just like, never understood why we had things so far. But now I'm like aeons ahead of these people out here because they don't even move. I'm like, what do y'all be seeing that I'm missing? Why am I so far ahead? I did an analogy in court and went over everybody's head in the courtroom. I was like, it's a basic
Because we're strategists. They taught us that. I mean, even when it came down to North and his crazy criminal law class, and it's just like, read these 300 pages, and you got to be like, am I never going to sleep and read them? Or am I going to be like, you got 15, you got 15, you got 15 pages. And then all of that, like, that is teaching you stuff that you just cannot let go of.
Yeah, and I hear when you hear them talk about their law, they didn't realize we really went to a true HBCU. We were the majority.
Yeah.
And I don't think they understood the dynamics. When you talk to people out here, they're like, what do you mean y'all stood up in the classroom to do y'all's briefing? What do you mean you couldn't have your laptop? What do you mean you couldn't chew gum? I'm like, we had to wear pantyhose. We were taught like we wear skirt suits. I don't know what y'all on, but it's a different type of time.
It is. It was. Definitely. 10 years. Okay, so, Yladrea, what would you say to a law student or a young lawyer, 5 years practicing or less, about what they can do with their law degree?
Man, I think you can do a lot. I've done a lot of compliance work. You can work a lot in HR. I say find your passion though. Like know what you want. Intern at different places, different type of things, whether you are a practicing attorney or not. I would say you're never going to really know till you get into the field, but I do believe there's just so much you can do with it. I mean, I loved compliance. I loved policy. There's people out here who work on the Hill, and you don't even have to work on the Hill, but there's so many things you can do. I mean, sports agency. I thought I wanted to be a sports agent at one point. You know, contract law is a big deal. If you work in whatever field you worked in before, anything you ever aspired to do, there's legal in it. So just know you can find some level of where you can utilize your law degree in any space that you love, even in social media, even like podcasts. I mean, look at this. We're literally putting law everywhere. But if you really want to be a dog with it, I'm telling you, do crim. I'm going to say do crim. And if you want an internship, call me. I love to have you.
Virtual or you got to be in DC?
They could be virtual. They don't have to be here. I probably prefer some people. I would like to get some people from the South just a little bit because I think their minds kind of would match with mine a little bit more. But I have a really good law clerk, shout out to Carissa, who is going in law school right now at I think the University of Baltimore here. And she's really good. Like she stops me from getting crazy. I make up theories. She's like, it's not going to fly. That one's not working. So always, I just say, intern with different people. I'm a small firm. She was grateful to be with a small firm. Some people want to go big law. I know a lot of people network. You want to get in places you've never been. There are a lot of rooms people aren't supposed to go in because with my GPA, I'm not supposed to be doing half of the things. No matter where you were in your class, don't downgrade whatever opportunity you have. It might be the best opportunity of your life. That's the only thing I would say is take all opportunities serious. And also don't play around about yourself. Like always network. That's a big deal.
I love that. So, but what is it about being a lawyer that made you say, okay, compliance is cool, but let me try this. Like most people would say, oh, I don't want to do family law anymore and just quit. What made you decide to like maybe look at different areas?
So I was doing at first primarily family law. Like I ended up getting hired to be a family law attorney. And then we ended up getting this one case from what the practice manager at the time, it was his best friend's like daughter. And it was a big like distribution case I had went crazy. So they hired the firm. Well, my boss, he had done crim before, but I don't know. They were asking like, what do we need to do here? And they were having a panic moment because they took it on. And I was like, well, y'all need to do a motion to sever. And they was like, what made you think about that? And I was just like, you need to do all these motions. Things just started clicking. And then I was like, loving the fact that it was the evidence part of it. And I started realizing, oh, you can win here. But also, it's less paperwork. I guess it came on because I was at a firm and they had the opportunity to come in. And I started kind of noticing. And so I did a DV case one time. So the shift towards like the drama of crim started like, something you just can't make up in family law. You'd be like, this is not real life. But, I went from that and then I did some contract work like things. And then I got into crim and it was just like, I couldn't look back. I love the opportunity of helping somebody. And especially because when I really transitioned, it was when I was in my own firm and we were taking on, like, it's pro bono to them. We get paid like smaller amounts, but it is something about you having to step up. I like the challenge of knowing like this is somebody's life, this is real. And I remember the first person who told us that was Professor Reed. She was like, I know it looks good to read these things, but this is somebody's real life. And I know it seems fun and we all like talking about it, but this is somebody's real life. And then it happened. You'd be like, oh, this is somebody's real life. Like, so that's what made me, the transition was because I kept running into different opportunities, and then you just see what you find joy in. I love the law in all aspects, but what you find out is what burden or what nuisance do you feel like you want to deal with. The headache of the clients with family law, I'm good. The people in like tort cases, even that. Now I have a tort case. I have some bigger tort cases that I'm kind of closing out. ELC, the emotional effect of that takes a toll on you because you want to help them, but it's like everything about their life matters. And I'm like, I have my own crises going on. But it's, you find your passion when you find out what you like and what you want to deal with. Whatever headaches you can tolerate are the headaches that you'll like to be in. I think I realized family law was too big of a headache, and I got my own family and my own kids. I like to watch TV drama. I thought their drama was entertaining, and then it's worse when you have people calling you in the middle. They don't care what time it is, blowing your phone up over she took the baby this week. I don't know why she took. The exit plan was near. We have to find.
But that's so real because you gotta like, everything is hard. You just gotta figure out what you want to deal with. And like, you've said it multiple times that you gotta just lean into the opportunities. And I think that's so powerful because like, you don't know what it could turn into. And you can try it and you don't like it, you can leave. But like, lean into whatever the opportunity is, because I've seen that. Like, even in your story today, you're like, I leaned into that. I leaned into that. They told me to take the bar one more time, and I was like, well, that's kind of how you move.
When I think about things, I'm like, my former boss, Jamar Brown, he always told me, you have not if you ask not. And so it's almost like if an opportunity is there and you didn't try it, then how can you say what it really is, right? Yeah. Like, when you get the chance, if you work this hard to get here, whatever you do, when you get your degree or if you decide after you get the JD that you want to go practice, when you get that license and an opportunity comes in front of you, you don't want to say, well, I don't want to do it. A lot of people out here will say, oh, I don't practice in DC. And they fail to tell you that they can't practice in DC because they're not barred there, right? It's the way people trick their mind. Don't trick yourself to say, oh, I could never do family law. Well, you never did it. Right. Because you might find out that it's actually better for your lifestyle, because the job is, I realize all the drafting, I am very anal about my drafting. People know I will write a 23 page motion to suppress everybody else writing 3 pages. I'm giving you the gusto, but it drains me in family law because it's a lot of papering you down. Yeah. Just mechanics. Some people like that because they don't have to leave their home. They go to court on the days they've done, but I like to just be able to read and prep. Prep, and if I have to draft, well, I have to draft. But normally it's because it's something that I'm trying to one up somebody on. Like I'm trying to say, look, I'm going to throw something out here and try something new. I'm fighting for things that don't even exist. I'm making up stuff. But you can't do that in family law, right? Like I want to be about a part of groundbreaking change, right? Like I want to literally, my goal is to fight the good fight. That's what I'm here for. You get people and you help them. It's not just about freeing people. You got to figure out what is justice. I keep justice at the core. I'm a true criminal defense attorney because my clients are always innocent, for the record. My clients are always innocent. However, I believe in justice. So find your passion, but don't miss an opportunity. Don't say you don't like something if you've never done it. I used to say all the time, I don't need to be a lawyer. Well, I wasn't one. So how did I know? And
that's true.
And I was slick hating on them. I'm going to say, I apologize on the record that I was slick hating on everybody who had passed. I was salty. But now we're here. And I love what I do. But it's not for everybody. So I say, find out what you do, but don't miss the opportunity or you won't know if you like it or not.
I love it. I think like it's so creative. Like you literally created this life. And I think it's amazing.
I still don't know how I got here. I say it all the time. This is really my life. This is crazy. Just a few.
I've always liked surprises, but I'm starting to just lean into like, you don't know how it's going to work, but that's fun. You don't have to know how it's going to work. You just got to do your part. You said you like the prepping, you like the reading. Everything else, like all you can control is your preparation.
That's it. I stay going to trainings. I take advantage of all trainings. I literally have gone to some of the best national trainings for this. because I wanted to be good. I had a family law trial that I didn't think I did well in, and I got into the NETA training, and literally that happened in like May, and then like I instantly was in it in June because I was like, like I don't care what it costs, I gotta be in it. I gotta be the best of the best, and that's what I did.
I love it, and that's why you're winning. I love it. I love it. I love it. Alrighty, congratulations! I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. No, I'm excited for you. This is super cool. I love the creative part of it. This is stuff like Candace really likes to do. And I told her she be planning and prepping for years and ain't never pulled the plug. I'm like, girl, pull the plug on there and do what you got to do. Because some people are creatives. They love to do both. And she is that. She loves to do that. And I said, you got to do it, man. If whatever you want
to do it
for it. I mean, I wrote that book and that was good therapeutic for me. But I love to write. But now I'm like, shoot, if I wrote something now, it would definitely be something like, I would be trying to put people on game. But this is different, You're built different, you feel different.
Yeah. But you got time, and there's all kind of ways to move. Even if you wanted to do like a ghostwriter or put like a pen name on it, you can do whatever.
The girl did ghostwrite my fiction book, so I gave her the whole story. I like went through and edited, but I just never. I was like, it was a little too close to home. So.
That's silly. So thank you so much for this. I will see you on social like usual, everywhere. And let me know if you need anything.